everyone. This is Linda Ferguson
and Karen Nelson Bell.
And welcome to the latest episode of Platinum Prime for Life, the show where we share with you the things that we use to live our own Platinum Prime life. So today, Karen, I wanted to talk about something that I'm sure everyone in our audience has experienced before. And that's, what do you do when you have plans, they're carefully laid out, and then something happens to either change them altogether, or you suddenly find that you can't do those plans? How do you handle it? And so I'm going to go over what I do.
You're not asking me right now, are you?
What's that?
You're not asking me this very minute to answer that question, are you?
I am about to ask you in, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 seconds.
I figured you'd give us some ramp up.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. Like, we literally jumped on to do this episode and I couldn't hear Karen. And we tried a lot of different things to finally get it to work. So what do? We just solved one of those things. But we're going to share what we do. And we're going to start out, and Karen's going to share her life experience and how she handles such moments in her life.
I just figure that I need to treat each problem as a game to be won. And when I started doing that, it's about 4 years ago, I'd say, maybe 3 years ago, and I found that I had the ability to think of problems like games, and that I had to win the game. That thrusts you into figuring out solutions, and you become a problem solver instead of being a problem victim. And so I for example, I have my plan was to look good while I get old. That's my brand, right? Looking and feeling good while you're getting older. And I don't like my neck. Hence, I have this thing on. Now I'm going to take it off because it's itchy. And I think that me wearing this thing draws attention to the fact that I don't like my neck or my jawline. I look at Jane Fonda and I look at, Keaton. What's her first name?
Diane
Keaton. She wears turtlenecks. But I think that when you wear a turtleneck, it hides. I mean, it does hide this neck, which, don't I look younger when there's no neck?
You mean when your skin's tighter?
Yeah.
We should walk around like that, Karen. Hey. People might notice. People might have their attention drawn to us then.
Hey. So here was the thing. I planned to wear this. I bought it at a dollar store for $1, and I planned to wear it on videos, but it doesn't look good. It just makes it look like I'm a person trying to hide my neck.
You know, it actually, I just have to say, it didn't look bad, but it looked like Christmas time because it was, it looked seasonal.
Yeah. Wrong season.
Hey, so you can get away with it next Christmas. You'll be like all ready to go.
Yeah, my strawberries kind of conflicted with it. So I'll just sit here like this for the rest of the interview. But that was a plan I had. Yeah. And my solution, as I looked at it and I didn't like it, was to take it off, because that was how I won the game. Is like, okay, well, I'm not going to let anybody else make fun of me.
Good.
Or spread. I've never actually gotten hate comments in my social media. I haven't had hate, and I don't want to have it. So I figured I'd take this off before somebody commented on my failed attempt. But the point is to learn to pivot. And you can change your mind easier than you can sometimes change circumstances. When I moved to Florida, I didn't like the humidity. It really drove me crazy because I came from Vegas. Vegas is hot, plenty hot. I've been in 115-degree summers, and you don't necessarily get 115 down here. But man, when you get to 100, it's really, really, really hot because the humidity is so high. And I was getting headaches and I was just dragging myself around. And I finally said, well, I can change my mind easier than I can change the weather. I don't know if I can change the weather. Sometimes I think I can, but anyway, I decided that I would treat it like, oh, I'm in the tropics and I'm getting a beautiful facial every time I step out into this lovely moist air. And it's so good for my skin and so good for everything, my health and my lungs. And the minute that I changed my mind, do you know that now I listen to people complaining about the humidity in Florida? I'm like, what humidity are you talking about? I don't even notice it because I changed my mind. So I pivoted intentionally. It wasn't overnight either. I mean, I was causing myself to pivot. And you can do that. You can say, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to make this different. And then you can build new habits, because I used to hate to exercise. And now I love to exercise because I intentionally changed my habits, and I intentionally changed my viewpoint of it. So that's my idea, is that to play life like a game and to pivot when necessary. Does that make sense?
Of course. So there was a time when I read every day. I read books because I have my own set of viewpoints. I have my own decisions and things that have gotten me through life to this point. Some of them are decisions I made on my own. Others are things that someone else brought them up and I tried them on for size and they were a good fit. I tweaked them a bit so that they fit.
Yeah.
And I love finding an author or a creator or a movie, something that to me inspires me to think slightly differently and in a better way.
Yeah, that's in fact what you just described is what writers hope for. I, as a writer, hope that that's going to happen. That's our dream. You are a dream reader.
Especially when the writer, instead of just mouthing what everyone else is saying, and many writers just regurgitate what someone originally said and they put their own spin on it, but it's not new. It's not new. It's not fresh. Hopefully, as I'm talking along, I'm thinking, well, gee, I wonder if anyone said this before. The point being that every once in a while, you'll hit someone who just is absolutely out of the box in a way that sounds so different. It makes you stop to listen, stop and think, what's this person saying? So one of those writers and creators is a gentleman. His name is Salil Bloom. Sahil. I think that's what it is, and I will have it in our show notes. Salil Bloom, and he has a newsletter called The Chronicles of Curiosity, isn't that a cool name?
That's a great title.
He wrote a book that's just released. I think it's been on the New York Times bestseller list in its category for 7 straight weeks since it launched, or maybe it's on week number 8, but it's called The 5 Types of Wealth. And he goes through what those are. I'll link to things, but it's currently the book that I'm reading, and I'm going to share a story from the book because it got me thinking about the times when we have a goal in mind, or we have a project that we're working on, and then life steps in and takes that forward direction and puts life spin on it. And it's like, oh my gosh, COVID just hit. What the heck am I going to do now? Something like that. It's so heavy duty that it looks like, well, what are you going to do? You just got some news that changes everything. How do you handle it? So the first thing I'm going to do is clear a word. And clearing a word just means define it in a way that is easily understandable because I'm about to use it in a concept. The word is razor. And in this concept, it's in the study of philosophy, The term razor denotes any principle that allows you to quickly remove unlikely explanations or avoid unnecessary steps. Okay, so just cutting things out that are unlikely reasons for something to happen, or you're making it too complicated and it can be a lot simpler. There are some well-known ones. Occam's razor is one. And if you're not familiar with it, the first time I heard it, I had to look this word up. It's a 14th century William of Occam states then when weighing explanation for something, the one with the fewest necessary assumptions is generally the correct one. Okay. All right. He writes about the life razor. What can you do to remove things from your life that get in the road of where you're going and do it so that you get there no matter what, no matter what's happening? Now, okay, so that sounds like something I definitely wanted to know. Karen wants to know. I hope you want to know too. The story that preceded that was one when I started reading it. I'm looking at my phone and it says the life razor, keeping the earth in the window. And that story was from the Apollo 13 mission that Ron Howard made into a movie. And near the end, when they're trying to come back into Earth's orbit to land, something goes horribly wrong. And the way that they normally would use the onboard computers and everything to arrive, nothing's working. It was a short circuit leads to an oxygen tank explosion that critically impaired the ship's ability to complete the trip back to Earth. Okay, so this is a true story. And Tom Hanks' character at the end is they're given complex instructions. You got to do this, you got to do that, and they're overwhelming, and the astronauts can't complete that. And so Tom Hanks says, wait a minute. Let me ask something. Now look, Houston, I'm reading this. Now look, Houston, all we need to hold altitude is one fixed point in space. Is that not correct? That's him recalling his knowledge of something. And Houston says yes. Well, Houston, we've got one, as he peers out the window and he sees the Earth. And he says, if we can just keep the Earth in the window, fly manually, the crosshairs are right on it. That's all I need to know. How long will it take until we burn the engine? That's all I need to know. And it worked. He just kept the capsule coming down while he kept the Earth in his window. And they arrived safely because that was the right angle to get home. Kind of a cool story. I went, okay, but what does that have to do with the life razor? What does it have to do with? And in the long term, and this is solving problems, if you keep, like in your case, Karen, it's keeping your health, youth, and beauty. Yeah, that's the Earth in your window, in your crosshairs, right? And you start removing anything that complicates that. Too many steps to it, and so on. In my case, I just recently solved sleep as a big problem. And sleep was what I was going for. It was literally ruining my life. And I just started eliminating all the things that I didn't think were working right, one by one, all the different pills and potions and rituals and turn 3 times and salute the moon or whatever I was doing. I just kept eliminating, but keeping in the simple things that worked. And it worked. And I've gotten the best sleep that I've had in many years in recent times. So good. So story, life razor, and keeping your earth in the window as you head forward is a really good piece of advice for you. So
I'm
that
done. The whole time you're talking, first of all, what a great story.
isn't it great?
I haven't seen that movie and I didn't know that story, and that is just fantastic.
Ah,
First of all, now how to apply that
right.
to what we're doing. I have a situation right now where I have people know that I was in real estate investing because I had a bestseller called Nothing Down for Women, and I taught people all over the country how to invest. And then came the downturn, and I lost a lot. I didn't lose everything, but I lost almost everything. And I didn't. I was fortunate, but not. It wasn't good. It was not a pretty sight, and embarrassing because I was looked at as kind of a guru, and here I was struggling along with everybody else. So I pivoted, and I taught people how to do loan modifications, because sometimes you could go in and modify your loan and you could keep your property. Even if it was a rental property, you could still keep it. So I did that. Now I still have rental properties, and in the about 2 months ago, two rental properties both ended off renting. One ended off because they bought the house. They'd already paid the down payment, and they just found a way to finance the house, and they bought it. And this was good because now they own it and they have a good loan, and instead of owner financing. But I had an income stream go away overnight. And so then the next week, another rental property, I was informed that the property building no longer allows rentals. And I had to stop. And so there was another rental. So in a 2-week period, I lost two pretty significant streams of income. So the problem became how to replace those streams of income. Now I'm still in the process of working that out. Now I've taken up music, because music always was my solution. My solution to everything was go play piano someplace. And at the moment, I'm actually playing piano for a lady who sings at senior facilities, and it's actually really rewarding. And I love music, so doing music is a great way to build an income stream. But really, to be honest, at this point, that's something that I've already done. And so I'm looking now, what do I want to do that aligns with everything that I'm doing right now? And I think that this principle, I need to follow it. I'm not following it well because I'm dispersed, and I'm doing too many. I'm reaching out to too many things, and I'm not really doing the two things that I'm the most passionate about right now. I'm passionate about music, and I'm passionate about helping people, and especially these old folks. Oh my gosh, I'm 81 and I call them the old folks.
Well,
I asked the other day, I said, I'm 8. I just turned 81. Who here is older than me? And no one was older than me. What in the world? Am I that old that nobody in the room is older than me? Oh,
isn't that funny?
But one time the guy was 100 and he looked great, and that was really fun to talk to people who are 100. But it's clear that I need to find that more simple solution, the thing that really is the truth. Yes, I'm still going to pivot. Yes, I'm still going to play life like problems like games. I don't think I should lose those principles. I think they're valuable. I think they work for me, but I think I need to somehow apply that. So I wish you would tell me how you would envision, and maybe other people are like, I can't, I think she's right, but I don't exactly know how to apply it. So can you just solve my problem for me?
Yeah. Why don't you become a paid speaker? Because you're great at it. You're inspirational. And all you need to do that is get someone who books speaking engagements. You can just stand up there and say, I'm 81 years old. And, have people hire you for modeling and all the different things that you've done in your very full life. But speaking engagements, when it's inspirational to others, is tremendous. Around that, you have to create a story, a plausible, you need to sell yourself when you're a speaker. But
I think the before picture of me looking like I'm 18 months pregnant with triplets, I think that's a story.
definitely, that is a story, but the story is your age more than anything else. It's really how have you arrived at 81 looking so amazing that you can still wear a bathing suit out in public and not be cringy about it.
I didn't say I wore it in public. Well, it was public, but nobody was around when I took those
Well, you
pictures.
look good though. I mean, you didn't look horrible. You look good.
I saw a
Not
lady
that you're
today.
back in your 20s, but
No, but I saw a lady today who is 81. She's famous. Her first name is Iris, and I can't tell you her last name right this minute, but maybe I'll find it before we publish this. And she's 81, and she's the world's oldest bodybuilding champion. When she was in her late teens, she got married and had a baby, and the baby didn't survive. And then she had another baby, and her husband passed away. So she lost a baby and a husband before she was 22 years old. She
wow.
took up bodybuilding to uh, just to replace the grief. And I think that was a good choice on her part. And she's been bodybuilding since she was 22. Now she's 81, and now she has become a total inspiration for me because I am trim. There's no doubt that I'm trim now, and I'm permanently trim because I can be any weight I choose. So I'm 3 pounds away from my all-time best. Like, I don't even know if that's my best weight right now, but in life, I was married at the weight of 125, and I starred in Hallelujah Vegas at the Stratosphere Tower in Vegas when I weighed 125. I'm 3 pounds away from that. So it's an arbitrary that I'm trying to reach. But this gal is so fit that I can't do one. Can you do a pull up? Can you do a
No,
chin? I can't do a chin up. Can you
even
do
at my best, I could do maybe 3 at my very best. So upper body strength has never been something that I'm known for.
Well, I have
But
great arms. My arms are pretty darn strong. Yes, I
oh,
have,
nice.
I have,
Yep, you do. Definition for sure.
I'm working on my shoulders and my arms, but I do my push-ups against the wall because I can't do an actual really push-up. So she's my inspiration to become more fit.
Mm.
And I've recently been reading, so many people will tell you that the key predictor of your longevity is your muscle mass. In particular, your legs. If your legs are strong, you have a chance to live a longer life. It's more of a prediction than whether you smoke or whether you drink or whether you're prone to heart disease. This muscle mass thing is it. So I'm not fit enough. I'm trim, okie dokie, and I'm somewhat fit, but now she's my total inspiration. Now, how does that fit in to what we were talking about? It just is that she was focused that whole time. The simplicity of it was put your mind on becoming a bodybuilder. And now she trains other bodybuilding women how to pose, how to win contests, how to eat, this and that. I'm going to try to interview her. Oh, because you're right. I must speak. You know what I love more than just speaking? I love interviewing.
Okay.
I love podcasting. I love talking to you and asking you questions. I love that. I think maybe I'm not a speaker. I'm an inquirer. I'm an Oprah.
Well, okay. What do you want to ask me? I'm here. I'm yours.
Well, I want to know how. Okay, so I asked you to solve my problem, and you did. I think you did. I think you just now solved my problem.
Oh,
But
good.
how are you applying this to you?
Well, I've always been pretty clearly defined on who I am and what I want to accomplish. And my overall writing, this drives my life, is I want to have the effect on others so that anyone who gets involved with me walks away feeling better about themselves, better about what their potential is, And I really try and help guide them when they ask for the help. And if they don't ask me for help, then I don't offer it necessarily. I might say something and go, geez, I hope they get inspired by this. But in reality, it is if you engage with me, whether it's a rapid result or a more longer term result, I want you to walk away saying, I always feel good when I'm around her. I always feel better. And so when I go off course, so sometimes my outward view gets very turned inward. I'll be worried about sleep. I brought it up. So sleep robbed me of the ability to have enough energy to accomplish what I need to accomplish during the day. And as we all age, your body's abilities to perceive as clearly as you used to. You notice I move my glasses aside. Some people have hearing problems. Your teeth are the only teeth you're going to have for your life, and they get older and maybe you had fillings. Things start to wear out. I have spinal, some of my lower back, I have like things there. They're just wearing out. I have a knee that's kind of got a little bit of arthritis in it. I didn't even know what arthritis was. I was going like, why does my knee hurt sometimes? There's something wrong. Would you exercise? Would you take a look at it, doctor? And the doctor goes, you have a touch of arthritis, which, it's not there all the time, right? That is to say, in your youth, you're looking out a lot. You're looking at life. I've got to conquer this. I've got to conquer that. As you get older, your body starts to put your attention back home because things are not the way they used to. And for some people, it just stalls them out. They suddenly, that all they talk about is health. It's what I call an old person disease. You're talking about your health all the time, the doctors you're seeing, what medicines are being consumed and what effect did those have. And it kills future growth because your attention gets sucked back. So when I find that I'm doing that, I have a journal or I've written down all those things that to me are important about life. It's kind of long. It's little bullet points, but I reread them again and I'm re-inspired again and just reminded and grounded and centered as a result of these are key decisions about me and about my attitude in life and about what I want to accomplish. And let's get on with it. And then I get on with it.
That's nice, Linda. I like that. Just to let you know, my perspective is that you accomplish what you set out to do, like to have a positive effect on people. You've had a definite effect on me. So just for you to know. But I also observe you around other people because we have a lot of the same friends. We live in the same town, and I know a lot of people that you know, and I think that you are reaching your goals. I just thought you might like to know that.
Oh, that is so nice. Thank you so much. That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so moving beyond that is there are people that promote health. And now we are talking about you, Karen, because that is something that you're passionate about. As well, you should be. I just said some people their attention gets turned in on themselves, and all they think about is what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. But you can also take that internal attention and make it be external, which is something that you've done, which is I had these situations, they were slowing me down. I chose to triumph over those things. Here's what I did to do that. And maybe my journey is helpful to you as well. Try it on for size and see if what I've figured out for myself is something that is helpful to you. And again, that is helpful. That's a very good thing.
That's nice. I recently posted something that I was talking about the three things that I think people really need to be what I call a super senior. I think I'm a semi super senior because I don't have the fitness that I want, but it just, I want you to know, I think you already know, but I want the people that would be watching us to know that I don't think health is the biggest goal. I think there are other things that are even more important, but the problem is that without your health, it's hard to do the other things that are actually more important. So it's kind of the foundation. The health is okay. I've got to have the health so that I can do these other things. The second thing was to remove toxicity in any form from your environment. Now we
Mhm.
can remove the toxins to the degree that we can. We can stop using as much plastics, we can stop using aerosol products that spray bad things into our lungs. But I'm talking about the toxic relationships. And it's hard sometimes because maybe the toxic relationship is with a family member, and that's painful as hell. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't had that happen, but well, I guess I had a toxic relationship with my mother because she was an alcoholic towards the end.
Mm.
And it became kind of toxic, but I don't think of her as a toxic relationship. You know what I mean? I mean abusive people, whether they're
Yeah.
physically or mentally, emotionally abusive, and I just won't tolerate it. So that's number two, and number three is to find for your own self your highest purpose, whatever that is. It should be something where you feel that you're of value to other human beings, so that you feel that your life had some value to you being here. And if you don't have purpose, find people to be around who have purpose. So replace the toxic people with people who have purpose, and that's a pretty simple thing. So let's go get healthy.
Mhm.
Don't have to follow my way to get healthy. Just stop eating crap for starters. Just stop eating. You know what you shouldn't be eating.
Right.
And I have tricks for helping you do that, because it's kind of hard to do, because there's an addiction involved there. Carb addiction is a real thing. Sugar addiction is a real. It's not just your imagination. It's science. So handle the health thing as best you can, but remove the toxicity and replace them with purpose-driven people living a purpose-driven, service-oriented life in service of other people. And that's where it's at. So those three things are my simplicity. And what you told me to do, be a public speaker or be an interviewer, that's what I feel like that's what I'm doing. I just haven't figured out exactly how to replace my rental income with being a thinker and a purveyor of thoughts that are beneficial, other than being a writer. Yes, I'm still writing Super Senior. I hope to have it out this year.
All
Um,
right. I have a couple of things to add.
okay.
So, what is this? There you go. Keeping your eye on Earth, or we called it life's razor, right?
Aha.
We, both of us, know many, many friends or neighbors or just people in our community that lost just about everything during the two back to back hurricanes that Florida experienced.
Right. That's right.
And you can, right after the hurricanes, you could see just household belongings, house after house, after house, after house, after house, with just piles of carpet, furniture, just stuff by the road. The things were soggy. They were ruined by the water that flooded the homes.
Yeah.
I have a friend who has two homes. One home he'd almost sold and it was days away from closing, and another house he was moving into days away from him moving in when those hurricanes hit. And so both of his homes were flooded, total losses, because almost no one had the wherewithal to just go out and fix it all. I mean, we're talking tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Most people, hundreds of thousands of dollars that had severe damage. So here they are going on in life, however, and then this stopped everything. They lost literally everything. The whole, our whole area did. So, how do you deal with that? We're saying you still have a direction you're going. Life had other thoughts at the moment that
Yeah.
came right across your pathway and you're at a dead stop. What do you do? Well, what do we do? Karen alluded to it when she said, I had two significant income streams that I'd adjusted my life around. And suddenly they were both gone and they were so significant that I have to replace them. It's not a luxury. Oh, yeah, that was nice and it was little. I have to do it. And I'm 81. It isn't a time when you're starting newly in an activity. You need to do something now. So, what do? You put on your problem solving hat. You take what you already know and you apply it to the problem that's in front of you. I gave a solution based on what my experience is, and I do know people who are speakers who do very well financially, but there is some groundwork that goes with that. So I I tossed that out as a possible solution. Finding a house that you can
What's funny, and I didn't say, Linda, is that I spent at least 8 years as a professional public speaker. So
read it. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I was speaking on behalf of the Robert Allen Institute. Robert Allen was my real estate investing
Ah,
mentor. And my late husband and I, we both went out, and I've been trained by the best in the business who trained other highly visible motivational speakers. And I've been trained how to sell from the platform, and and then also how to just speak and how to formulate a speech. So I've had all this training and I do enjoy it, but
uh-huh.
passion is more in other people and finding out what they do. That's why Super Senior is interesting to me, because I get to find other people who are majorly fascinating. So I don't know if you ever knew that about me, that I actually did make a
No,
living as a public
this
speaker.
is news. This means that someone can hire you right now. So you
Yeah.
just need to get your bio together that addresses the talks that you like to give, what that talk is, how long it is, and then collect some testimonials. You're in business. Got fees behind it. Yeah, because you've already written the books. And I think actually real estate, uh, that one always, as far as money goes, real estate always has an audience.
Yeah, I'm back
And
in the biz. I'm definitely back in the biz, because you do what succeeded. I made the most money in my life in real estate. So of course
awesome.
I'm back in the biz.
Okay.
But I'm not going to go out and teaching it this time. I'm just going to be doing it.
All right. So you've got a direction.
Yeah.
Life throws something weird at you.
Yeah.
Now you have to problem solve. And in solving the problem triumphantly, you become stronger. You become more able to go forward. Exactly. I have one final little story, and that is my walk on the beach this morning. So before I got married, which has been a little over a year now, just celebrated a 1 year anniversary. I'm a very happy married lady. A girlfriend and I would take frequent walks on the beach. We have a beautiful beach here, and early morning is just exquisite. It's famous. And so we'd walk on the beach and we would walk every day and soak in the sun. Not every day, but many days a week. And we haven't done it for a long time, and we've been trying to do it. And then I just can't get up in time. Da 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 da. She travels a lot. But this morning we went for a walk over an hour. It was really wonderful. And on the way back, she said, I don't know if you know this, but I'm doing CrossFit. I've been doing CrossFit for over a year. And I said, no. Wow. She said, yeah, I'm part of what she does is physical therapy for people who are handicapped. And she said, I just started noticing twinges, and I decided I needed to do something about it. And she said, I'm up to bench pressing, I think at 65 pounds now. And she's going for 85 pounds, which does not sound like a lot, but it it actually is, if you have a trainer who's making you do that many, many times, that's a lot of weight. And she can deadlift 125 pounds, I think. And then she showed me her muscles, and I was very impressed. She also someone she could wear a bikini, and she's around my age, so super cutie. But her goal was to be. She's been a fitness instructor for most of her life, and her goal was to maintain that. And as soon as it started to sort of slide sideways for her, she sought someone else to help her get that way. And what I do in my life to help others, besides just decide that they're going to do better if they're around me, is I help with finances. I help people get on top of their finances, figure out their finances, have enough so that it also isn't something that's totally introverting them to the point where they're not able to function well. And it's figuring out where's the money that I need to live the life that I want to live. So that's what I do.
And you do it incredibly well. And that's why I asked you to solve my problem.
There you go. All right. So we have shared a lot today.
We're coming to the end of our podcast, and I think that what the resources that you're going to put there are fascinating. I'd like to read that book. And because I remember the first time I heard about Occam's razor, and I thought, yeah, that actually is true for me.
Yeah.
It had truth in it, and I recognized it as being something that was true in my own world. And so I'm really grateful for you to have brought up this topic today.
Absolutely. The book is called The 5 Types of Wealth, and it goes over things that are not things you would normally think of that each person needs in order to be wealthy. And one of those is what I just talked about, life's razor. And I thought, oh, what an interesting topic. So I will share that resource with everyone. And in the meanwhile, Karen and I are both here saying, live a platinum prime life. We love you. We want you to do better. We strive to do better. And we will see you next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.